So here we are at Moon Station. Check it out. We have a historical marker and even a newer Georgia Department of Economic Development Tourism. Oh look, we get a fun, cool little CSX train going by too. I don't know what that's all about. I'll find out what kind of train that was for you because that's kind of cool. And so yeah, so it's obviously still a working railroad here. This is the site of Moon Station. So basically, coming up the tracks from that direction where that train just came, I'm gonna walk back over here where you guys hopefully can hear me better behind my car so that maybe you can hear a little better. Okay, so see where that car is coming up the tracks here? They're heading north from Kennesaw. And after James Andrews and his men stole the locomotive, they headed up north. They took off, headed up north this direction. And when they got to this spot, Moon Station, this was just a little wood and water refueling station. It was really not much more than you see here now. It was, there was a work crew out here. It's just a place to stop for trains to stop to refuel. And there was a work crew out here. And when James and his men came along with the general, they thought, it's a little strange. It's missing all his passenger cars, because before they stole the train, they had actually uncoupled all the passenger cars so that they didn't have to pull as much. They could move faster that way. And so it was just the engine, and they scratched their heads and thought, well, that's strange, and continued working. But not 2 minutes after the general passed them, they stopped just a little north of here, and one of the raiders came back and asked to borrow a crowbar and they really didn't give a good explanation that we can tell. And the workers, again, they were a little confused by what was going on, but they just handed it over and didn't think much of it and continued on with their day. Well, Andrews and his men continued up north the railroad, and a couple miles north of here they actually stopped, maybe not even a couple miles, maybe just a mile or two, stopped to actually check the engine, make sure everything was going to be working properly for their route, and cut the telegraph wires. There were wires that were going all along the rail that was the main form of communication between cities and between train depots. And the nearest telegraph office to this site was not in Big Shanty, it was actually in Marietta. So just after the raiders stole the train in Big Shanty, once Captain Fuller, the captain of the train, realized his train has been stolen, he sent somebody on horseback back to Marietta. Of course, on horseback it took a minute, but to try to go send off a telegraph to tell everybody that, tell the authorities that his train has been stolen. But in the meantime, Andrews came up the rail. They cut the telegraph wires. So whatever message was going to be sent from Marietta north to the next stop, to the next train station, never made it. So yeah, so then along comes Captain Fuller. Now remember I said in Big Shanty, when he started chasing the train, he started on foot. He just started running. He was like, hey, there goes my train. I'm not going to stop to figure out how to get there. I'm just going to go. And a couple of other men followed with him. So there was about 3 of them, I think, running up the tracks this way. And when they got here to Moon Station, that work crew who had already seen James Andrews and his men now realized that that train had been stolen. And Captain Fuller said, I need to borrow your push cart or pole cart, whichever you want to call it, a variety of terms. And so they got on, let's see, Captain Fuller, the 2 guys that were with him, and some of the work crew members actually got on this cart that I showed you a facsimile of at Big Shanty, and started pushing it up the rails. That sent them a little bit faster. They had to push it with a pole, got them going a little bit faster than running on foot, and saved them some exercise as well. So yeah, so that's the significant thing that happened here. The telegraph wires were cut a little north of here, and Fuller got on his pole cart to start chasing the general faster that way. Now, eventually, he's going to abandon the pole cart because it's really not going fast enough. And he's going to get on a couple more locomotives. So we are going to see if we can find some of those spots. Won't be able to find all of them because the roads don't all cross along the railroad. But I think next I'm going to head to Allatoona Pass and we'll see what happens there. Bye.